Hey friends, today I want to share with you 10 creative ways to practice your hand lettering. I know that I'm always saying that it just takes practice and a lot of time, and while that's true, I know that it can get kind of boring just practicing your ABCs or drills over and over, and I think that's really important, but also there are some fun ways that you can just kind of incorporate lettering into other crafts and artistic projects, so I wanted to share some of those with you today. The first way that I'm going to share is bullet journaling, and that's something that you've seen me do on this channel, or I've talked about on my blog if you've read it there, that I kind of got into bullet journaling as another creative way to practice hand lettering. Honestly, I was kind of running out of like quotes to letter, and I would spend more time looking up something to letter than just actually practicing. So I started bullet journaling, and I've not always been the most consistent, but I do like to do it just kind of for that extra creativity. It kind of pushes me out of my comfort zone with doing things besides just words. So I think it's a fun way to kind of stretch yourself and see if this might be something that is fun for you. And the best part about bullet journaling is that you can kind of do it however you want. So there aren't hard and fast rules to bullet journaling. You just make it work for you. So mine has a lot of hand lettered titles and a lot of different types of writing styles throughout my bullet journal. And that leads me to the next one, which is Bible journaling. Bible journaling has gotten kind of popular. This is the Bible that I'm using. It is the She Reads Truth Bible, and I just kind of flipped through it and wanted to mention that it actually comes with a lot of art in it. So if you see some like full page quotes like that one, I didn't actually do that. Those are already in the Bible when you purchase it, but there is a very large column on the side where you can do your Bible journaling. And like I said, this is something that's become really popular, and you can see if you look on Pinterest or if you look up the hashtag Bible journaling on Instagram, you can see that some people get very, very, very artistic, like with adding extra paper and doing watercolors, and it's just kind of up to you. I kind of like to just keep it simple. I don't like to write over the actual like words and letters in my Bible so that I can't read them anymore. I just kind of like to, if something sticks out for me, I just like to kind of add some creativity and add it to the side of my Bible so that I have kind of that focal point next time I'm reading through it. So that's kind of how I do it. But again, if you look on Pinterest or Instagram, there are many, many, many different ways to do Bible journaling, and you can really get as creative as you want with it. My next idea for creative lettering is card making. Now again, this is something that you can find on YouTube or Instagram, Pinterest, where people get very, very, very detailed and artistic with their cards, and that's totally fun. It just kind of depends on how much you want to put into it, but I just personally really like practicing my lettering and making it kind of something that's useful and something that I can use again. I don't want to just be throwing away everything that I letter, and I also don't want to have tons and tons of notebooks full of lettering that I'm never going to look at. So I like to use my artistic ability and try to make something useful, and card making is one of those ways. Here I'm just using a little bit of embossing powder over the watercolor. Just make sure it's super, super dry. I actually had to go over it twice because the first embossing pen did not like the watercolor underneath, so I did it again and eventually kind of got it to stick. But embossing is another way that you can kind of add creativity to your hand lettering and give you a new challenge to try. The fourth idea I have is memorization. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen that one of my goals this year was to memorize more scripture, and so I was kind of thinking about how I do that, and it's a lot harder to memorize as an adult than it was when I was a little kid, and so I found myself just writing things over and over and over to help myself memorize them. So however you memorize, if there's something that you're trying to remember, just try lettering it, and it kind of forces you to go slow and really focus on what you are writing and kind of just plant it more in your head and in your heart if you're trying to memorize something specific. And so this has been something that I've been doing a lot this year, trying to memorize specific scriptures. And like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me, I've been using the hashtag lettering to memorize, and this is definitely becoming one of my favorite ways to practice hand lettering. And one of the things that I notice is when I have more continued lettering, these longer phrases or the same thing over and over, it really helps my hand to maybe build up that muscle. It's just the more I practice, the less sore my hand gets. So I definitely like practicing longer phrases in kind of more continuous lettering instead of stopping and starting over and over, so that I can build up that muscle memory in my hand. The next idea I have is envelope art. And again, this is something that you can get really creative with, or you can just keep it kind of simple like I am. If you look on Pinterest, there are a ton of ideas that bloggers have shared, or you can look on YouTube for videos on how to decorate envelopes, and you can get very creative. One thing that I'll say is I'm not sure how the post office likes that. I've never tried to send a letter that has art all over it, but you'll have to let me know if you do. I've seen other people do it, so I would assume it's fine, but I'm not really sure. So let me know below if you have decorated envelopes and how they get sent. The next thing that I want to share with you is studying or note taking. I'm not in school anymore, but I'm a very visual person. So when I was, this is kind of how I took my notes. I tried to make like a pretty header, and then I would list all of my bullet points or things that I needed to know about that specific thing in the area below. It's a small brush pen for this. For mine, I'm just using the small Pentel sign pen, not the brush pen, and then the Tombow twin tone markers. I just really like keeping it simple when I'm trying to study. I don't think it's as helpful if you take forever to write out your notes, because then you don't have as much time to study. So I just kind of kept it to this really simple format so that I could have everything laid out, but I could get through it quickly and then still have time to read over it several times when I needed to. I will say that I like to color code things. I'm a super visual person, so sometimes when I was taking a test or trying to remember something, I'll literally just imagine the page in my head, and it just helps me keeping everything kind of organized and looking the same with the same rhythms. It just made it more efficient and a little bit easier for me to kind of remember. And the next idea that I have for you is decorating your planner or your calendar. I am using the Valmarie paper prayer calendar, and I'm just kind of filling this in using a small Pentel touch pen and kind of able to practice my lettering that way. Again, I know I keep saying this, but planner decorating is something that you can find online on Pinterest or Instagram, where people get very elaborate. So you can take this and make it way more exciting than I'm making it. But again, when I practice, I just kind of want to practice the basics, and that's my only goal. So I just kind of keep everything really simple. But if you want something more than that, definitely look up planner decor, or if you use the hashtag planner junkies or something similar like that, you will see a lot of really elaborate decorating, and you can definitely incorporate your lettering into that as well. And to be honest, I know this is like so imperfect, and I really just like cringe at showing you some of this lettering, but I'm just trying to keep it real. It doesn't always look perfect when you're practicing. Sometimes it looks just downright bad, or sometimes it doesn't look great at all, but that's not really what it's about. It's not getting it perfect. It's just spending the hours practicing to build your muscle memory, to figure out how you like to write your letters, to figure out what kind of pens you like. And sometimes getting a little creative is a fun way to do that, but it doesn't mean that everything we have to do looks perfect. And my next example is a perfect example of sharing something that's very imperfect. I'm literally just creating this to show you the example of creating scrapbooks. I actually used to scrapbook all of the time, and I used to make really elaborate fun scrapbooks, but I would spend hours doing it, and I would get like 3 pages done. And so I have just embraced the digital world of scrapbooking. Everything is on our phones these days or on our computer, and I rarely even get pictures printed out. So I definitely don't use this one, but I know that there are a lot of paper crafters out there still. So if you are somebody who loves memory keeping with scrapbooking on actual paper, definitely look for ways to incorporate your hand lettering into your scrapbook pages. It will make it so fun and unique and just like more of a personal touch, but you'll also be practicing your lettering at the same time. Next example that I have for you is actually one that I love, and that's creating art out of your gift wrap or your gift tags or gift bags. I love getting just plain craft paper or white gift wrap or tags and just kind of adding lettering to it to personalize the person's name or just to personalize whatever holiday it is. I think that with hand lettering, you have a really unique ability to be able to create something that people pay a lot of money in the stores for. If you go to Target or anywhere that you buy your stationery supplies, you'll see that people pay for wrapping paper that just simply has hand lettered words all over it. So if you are hand lettering, just simply buy the plain craft paper and you can create your own. You can use brush pens. Here I am showing brush pens and a little bit of an embossing. So the possibilities are really endless, and you can personalize it for every holiday or every person. And all you really have to keep on hand is one type of bag or one type of wrapping paper, which I think is really awesome. And the last example that I'm going to show you today is chalk art. And chalk art is one of the first ways that I've really got into creative hand lettering, especially faux calligraphy. And I think it's a really great way to practice faux calligraphy, either using actual chalk or chalk markers. You get a really fun look, and you can kind of work at creating different sizes and different scales. And the bonus is that if you mess up or when you're done, you can just erase it and start over. So these are my ideas for you. I hope that you found some new creative ways to practice hand lettering if you get bored of finding quotes or practicing the alphabet or practicing your drills. This is also another way to kind of find your style and see what works for you. You're going to find a lot of different products that you might like or you might not like, and kind of just gather that style that you get as you practice more and you learn more. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below. If you're not subscribed, make sure to do that for more videos in the future. And if you'd like to see more videos and tips and tricks and pictures throughout the week, you can follow me on Instagram. It is at howtohandletter. So thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!